and re-recording.
I did it.
Yay!
Yay.
Oh! Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you very
Welcome.
much. Thanks
Who
for
are
having
you?
me.
I don't know who you are.
Well, I'm James Mavity, and I write
nice.
scary books.
Scary books.
Ooh.
I like scary books.
I do too.
Because scary books lead to scary movies, and scary movies lead to scary characters, and scary characters lead to haunted houses.
That
We
they
work
do.
at haunted houses, and haunted houses are great.
They are great. They're awesome.
Sorry for the tangent.
No. Help me.
Yeah.
So how many books have you written so far? If you could estimate.
8.
8. Ooh.
Not hard to estimate.
No.
Single digits still.
Hey, that's still
That's
pretty
still
impressive.
impressive. I can't write like a poem.
Yeah.
So
It's actually harder than you would think.
Yeah.
It really is. Because, I mean, there's a lot to it, and it takes time. And that's the thing that I do lack in is patience.
Yeah.
And writing has taught me, fuck you. You got to have patience.
You got to calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what kind of genre do you stick to mostly?
Mostly all horror, anything horror.
Nice.
I'm really into paranormal. I have that book there, Real Ghost Stories. That was the first one that I wrote that was of the scary nature. I have 2 comedy books out too called Laugh Until You Fart. But
Laugh until you fart. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Laugh Until You Fart 1 and 2. And I'm going to make a third one eventually because people really liked them.
Yeah.
Called Laugh Until You Fart 3, The Wind Beneath My Cheeks.
Yes.
So, it's all just true anecdotal stories of fucked up shit that happens to everybody.
Yeah.
Like shit in your own pants and stuff like that,
Yeah,
that.
we've all been there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Oh, I've got a shitting story for you. I can send it
Yeah.
over to you.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Nice wartime shitting
That's
story.
That's chapter 1 called Shit's Funny because it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right on. So how long have you been writing for?
Probably going on 10 years now.
Oh, nice.
That's really awesome. I
Yeah,
mean,
and-
considering I had a hard time getting an essay done.
Right.
So
I wasn't a good student. Trust
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. But I mean, you're doing pretty successful. I mean, you got 8 books, like you said. You got comedy and a horror thing going
Yep.
on. So that's a
Horror is my real passion.
yeah.
It really is. I love it. Ever since, Halloween,
Yeah.
when I was a little kid, I saw it and traumatized me half to hell, But I really loved it.
Now, do you write more like fictional stories, like you just create characters, come up with stuff, or do you kind of follow like local lores or maybe like urban legend? kind of
Sometimes I
stuff?
involve that in there. Like in my book, Darkness Moves, that was my first novel. All my books are short stories, except that one. That one was my first novel. And in that book, I have like the Hat Man. Are you familiar with the Hat Man?
I've heard of them. Yeah.
It deals with shadow people a lot.
Okay.
And I have like the Slender Mans in it.
Okay.
Okay.
So I busted
Cool.
out everybody I could think of to put in there scary,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's cool. I don't know much about the Shadow Mans. I remember listening to a episode of Coast to Coast where they're talking about Shadow Man. So
Yeah. Shadow figures are a real thing that cause a lot of sleep,
Yeah.
night terrors and sleep paralysis. And the Hat Man's been around for hundreds of years, recorded for hundreds of years. He wears like a bolero type hat and a long jacket and he
Like
stands
all
at the
teeth
foot
and
of your
shit.
bed.
the
Yeah.
folks who don't know, what is the like main lore behind the Hat Man?
That's a good question. There's no real good answer. I mean,
He's just
and what you
there.
can find out about it, he just scares the shit out of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's just
However,
a big
in
hat
my
and-
book, he's one of the biggest, baddest demons of all.
Oh, cool.
I'm thinking he's like a hidden demon almost. Like he's one of the demons that are just kind of like laid back, and he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna dress up in a hat and a smiley face.
Well, in my book, he has a legion of demons that
Oh,
do his
shit.
bidding.
Okay.
And,
Oh, wow.
There's one scene where one of the main characters wakes up in a basement of dirt, and he has like his skin was split open and then sewed around the chair arms, and his
Yeah.
legs the same thing. And the Hat Man shows up, and he opens up one side of his big long coat, and a pig man comes out.
Oh shit!
Oh, cool.
Hell
Pigman. That's
I like-
cool.
I like the pigmans. Pigmans are always cool in haunted houses too. Like I know a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
people are getting over them, and they're like, "Oh, it's another pigman."
Yeah.
Well, this pig man's
I
only
still
this
think they're
tall.
cool as shit. Yeah,
He's this tall,
that-
fat, and he can barely walk. But he walks over and starts gnawing on his flesh a little bit.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
Kind
even
of
better.
like something from a sideshow.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
So like a piglet man.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's cool. That's a good idea. That's a good idea for a haunt actor.
Shit.
Yeah.
We could get like 5 like
Kids.
kids to run around in pig masks and just squeal. God, that'd be amazing.
People are so afraid of little people too. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's weird, but I know so many people that are normal people, but they have this weird phobia against little people.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
They're cool ass people.
Yeah, totally.
Normal people.
Yeah.
Some of the coolest people, actually, I've met quite a few of them that
Yeah.
are like,
Yeah.
all right, you got some cool shit going on.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know.
that's awesome. Yeah. So, what inspired you to write the book about Fear Complex here? And
Well, I started here last year signing books, my other books, right?
Okay.
And then I started hearing stories from some of the cast and from previous management, and they were telling me that, you know, if you want to write a story about this, I know all kinds of people will have stories. And so I reached out to as many as I could and as many that contacted me, and I took down their stories and converted them into a book.
Heck yeah.
But unlike other books, these are real stories.
Nice.
You know, just like this one here. That's all real stories.
The real ghost stories. So if you're into, ghost story stuff, check out the books.
Yeah, please do.
people love ghost stories.
Yeah.
That's my best-selling book so far.
Yeah. And as a writer, what other authors inspired you to write horror novels?
Well, Stephen King, of course, back in the day.
Yeah.
And then Dean Koontz.
Okay. Yeah.
He
That's
has some
another
good
good one.
books.
Yeah.
If you ever read no Dean Koontz book, you should read Intensity.
Okay.
The name says it all.
Like I told you before, I don't read much, but I have read that one, and that is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, there's not many
Isn't
that
it?
I've read,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I mean, but the bad thing about a lot of famous authors when they become movies, they suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
They,
mean,
they miss half the dialect.
Yeah.
The description words aren't really there. Like
Right.
your mind just doesn't. The imagination is gone.
yeah,
Right. Well, I think that's what's good about all the streaming platforms now.
Yeah.
Is because studios are more likely to make a long form short series
Right.
versus just a movie that's 90 minutes. And I
Yeah.
prefer to watch something that's 4 hours long. And yeah, I might have to watch it in a couple sittings, but I'd rather get the full story. And I think if they would
Absolutely.
do that with a lot more books, I think that people would enjoy that a lot more.
I think the only good book of Stephen King's that became a movie was Misery, because that was
Oh,
pretty close.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah. It was
I
Kathy
mean, my
Bates.
wife and I, we honeymooned
Yeah.
at the Stanley Hotel.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
And we were right next to the room Stephen King wrote in. So
Oh, nice.
we were always on the ghost tour. Every time I opened the door, there'd be a crowd of people on a ghost tour. And had I thought of it, I would have just beat on the door and screamed bloody murder. Yeah.
That's something us would do. Like
I
the
totally
haunt people
would.
would do. Yeah.
I'd
Oh, yeah.
rent out the room that is like the scariest room, and just every once in a while just tap on a wall
Yeah.
or something because somebody's walking by.
Always. Always.
Taking a photo.
And that was the room Jim Carrey stayed in, too, when he filmed Dumb and Dumber. You heard about that, right?
Yeah.
No, actually.
He ran out of the room screaming in the middle of the night and never returned to get any of his stuff or
Yep.
anything.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Those rooms are all booked up like a year in advance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure they charge a premium for that.
And they
Oh,
do
it's
charge more. They have like
unreal.
5 rooms now, I think, that are haunted that they
Okay.
charge extra for.
Yeah.
That's
5 official
Fancy.
rooms.
Yeah.
maybe we should start like a haunted house hotel. That's like
Oh, yeah. That'd be
Knock the
cool.
books over and here.
careful, Wizzo.
I'm gonna set them back up here.
Make them look fancy.
Oh, look at these. Let's talk about this one. Deadeye Papers. What is this one about?
So the funny thing about that is I submitted a story to, you ever heard of these books called FUBAR?
No.
Fucked Up Beyond Repair?
Yep.
So there's an author and a publisher in Australia that writes these books, or he has authors. It's like short stories,
Oh, okay.
right? And so he said the next big thing in horror is westerns, and I said that's weird, but I'm down.
Yeah.
So I wrote a story about the Pony Express. It's full of monsters and all that good stuff, and I sent it to him, and he was super strict about the format, and if you don't do this, I won't even look. I'll throw it on the dung heap, and all
wow,
that
wow.
stuff. So he said he wanted no spaces or indentations of any kind.
Huh.
So I sent him a block of text, and I worked super hard on it. It's a great story because there's like all kinds of creatures,
Right.
And he rejected it. He told me, you made the pass. You made it past the first one because there was like just this entry submission had to have all these points met. And then when he opened it up and saw a block of text, he goes, I can't believe you sent me a block of text. It's been ignored. I'm like, this were your instructions. I even emailed him back. And he was like, sorry, dude. So I'm like, fuck you. You know, I'll write my own Western horror book.
Terrible.
That's terrible.
So in this book, that's the main character, Deadeye David.
Nice.
Okay. He looks like something out of Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. But he's a single person in every single story.
Cool.
And what it does is he's kind of a psychic, and he gets an inner pulling in his chest that makes him go. He doesn't know why he has to go, but it won't leave him alone until he gets there. And then he just witnesses all kinds of crazy, crazy stuff. And he's a recorder, so
Nice.
he has to write down everything. And then you find out that he's one of the original Men in Black
Oh,
for the government.
Cool.
that's neat.
Aliens now, huh?
There's aliens, there's
Aliens,
all
monsters.
kinds.
Telepathy. That sounds interesting as shit.
Yeah. Sounds cool.
He tried to save President Lincoln, you know,
yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Failed. And that's how he became Men in Black, because he got there just a second too late.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
That's cool.
So the
I'm
government
in for
said,
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It was a
Kinda
lot
in
of
for
fun
that
writing.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I know the Red Dead series of games. I don't know if you play video games or not, but there's some. It's a Western, but there's some horror aspects to that game as well. There's like one instance where you get drugged and these people try to kill you, and you wake up in a ditch somewhere. It's a wild game.
They've
sounds
got like
fun.
a witch. The one guy is like saying that there's a witch doctor poison in the water, and it's really him. And he's like just trying to kill off the town. Like he's just a lunatic, so you have to like go after him. It's pretty.
That
neat
sounds
game.
fun.
Yeah. And then there's another one called Weird West. And that's more of like a isometric game. It's a
Really?
PC game. But that one's it's actually like Western horror, where like you fight monsters and other like creatures from like Western lore and stuff like that. It's a cool game.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe. We
So Western horror is definitely a thing.
Yeah.
I feel like
kinda
there's
cool.
not many Western horror movies out there, but it would be
Well,
cool
there's
if there was.
cowboys and aliens, but that's not a horror movie.
yeah,
it's an
that's
action
just kind of
flick.
goofy.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I say. It would be cool if someone out there would make a
All right,
cool
there we go. Let's
horror
do it.
Western movie.
Yeah, do
Let's
it.
find a movie guy. Where's he
All
at?
right.
Let's
Yeah,
do it. You
give him
write
the
it.
book.
You write it. He'll produce it. We'll act it.
Yeah.
Well, here's a book right here. They
I'm
can
there.
it's
All right,
already
you already
written.
wrote it.
Yeah, let's make a movie.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Amateur movie. Let's do
I'm
it.
in. Stab me in the eye.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh God. Oh jeez.
Method acting.
Yes. That's what half we do. Right on. Well, how'd you hear about Hellscream Entertainment and the stuff we do here?
Yeah, to even get in to start signing.
Well, I met Vince at a barbecue in my old neighborhood where me and my wife lived. He knew the guy that was just recorded a CD.
Yeah.
And so we met him there, and he was a super nice guy and everything. And he told me this funny ass story that I could not ever forget. Because I got a potty mouth on me, but he doesn't cuss at all.
Oh yeah.
You're familiar with that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so his wife was telling me a story about how he was so mad at one of the employees that he called him up and he like used every cuss word he ever heard in his life and fired him and all that stuff. And so the next day the guy shows up for work and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And the guy's like, "Well, just so you know, when you cussed me out and fired me last night, it was the cutest thing I ever heard." And but message received, and I thought, damn. But it's funny when people that don't cuss try to cuss.
Yeah.
It just sound weird.
It comes out completely out of context. Like,
Dorky as hell. My wife never cussed before me, right?
you mother shit biscuit.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
And she still doesn't much.
Right.
But, I always laugh when I hear one come out of her mouth because it's just wrong.
Right.
You're making it weird.
It's like when a 6-year-old, you're not expecting, like, hey,
Yeah.
fuck off. And you're like, wait, what?
But it
You're
would be
like
like,
six. Did that
fuck off.
Did that little shit just cuss at me?
Yeah. Well, if they were my
funny.
kids, they probably, good chance they did.
Same.
Probably.
Same.
Yeah. I just picked it up from working in kitchens. We all talk like sailors.
Oh, yeah. I was in the military for 20 years, so,
Okay.
Yeah. That happens.
Oh, I'm sure.
my son's in the military now, one of them, and when we talk, it's pretty blue.
Yeah.
you know.
So I see fears and fears too. What are these about? Is that
So-
just general fears?
I try to exploit everyone's fears. So
I like it.
Fears 1 was so good, I thought, well, a lot of people that read it said it was really great and they wanted more. So I wrote Fears 2. And in Fears 2, I continued 4 of the stories from Fears 1, like a sequel.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
In Fears 2. But, like, I have a Bigfoot story in there because I'm big into Bigfoot, too.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
You know? And my brother-in-law actually was reading it while he was on jury duty. And he said he was hyperventilating a little bit as he was reading this because it said it's super intense. And this lady goes, "Are you okay, sir? Are you having a heart attack?" And he goes, "This book is so intense." But, that's what I try to do.
Right.
I'm not into gore porn. There's some gore.
Yeah.
You can't have horror without any gore.
Right. You got to have a little.
But I try to make you sit on the edge of your seat and really want to turn the next page to see what happens.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that it kind of steps away from full on gore too. I kind of build my
Like
character.
Saw?
Yeah, I kind of build my character Wizzo on that. Like I only do like during even the haunt season. Like off season, I do no blood whatsoever because it's mostly like interaction with kids and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But during the season, I do a little bit of blood, but it's usually just like a blood splatter coming off the eye, and that's about it, you know. And I try to stick away from like blood all over the place because too much is sometimes too much for people too, and they're just like, oh, it's just a big bloody mess.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
like, it's like
gets
Halloween.
lost.
Have you ever seen Halloween, the first original?
Yeah.
There was no blood in that movie.
Yeah.
Did you
No.
know that?
Yeah, no.
I read
great movie.
I read about it, and I'm like, what? And they couldn't afford blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they just didn't use it.
But
Gave it all the effects.
Then the way they did the mask too, so
Yeah.
well, that whole story about how they forgot the one and then it was like a Star Trek mask or something.
Yeah.
They
It
would have
was,
got.
it's William Shatner.
it's a William
Yeah.
Shatner
and they
mask.
just painted it black, white.
painted white. Yeah,
It's so funny.
they're like, we can't find anything.
So how do you feel? So because Halloween is one of my favorite horror franchises
Mine too.
as well.
Mine too.
And I grew up with Halloween. And personally, like for the sequels and stuff like that, I'm like, they can do whatever they want because some of the original sequels are so terrible.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how you feel about that, but I know.
do.
Yeah.
But when the first one of the last 3 that came out, Halloween was it 18?
Yeah.
yeah,
I took my son and we watched it, and I said, if this is how it ends, I'm happy with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because I thought it was very well made
Right.
and good, and
then there was
it was
2
true
more.
to the. Then they fucked the dog on that one.
Yeah.
And then it
But,
just kept bringing him back.
When they did the second one, I'm like, if I hear "Evil Dies Tonight" one more time,
Right.
I'm gonna go on a shooting spree.
Well, you got to take that tagline and just keep on driving it into your brain.
Yeah,
Right.
Otherwise, no one will ever know about the really cool movie that you made.
right.
Yeah.
But then, did you see the third one?
I didn't even bother.
I haven't seen the newest third one. No.
I didn't even bother.
It was so bad, it almost ruined the entire franchise for me.
Oh, man.
That's saying a lot.
So is it
Yeah.
kind of like Jason X? When they
Jason
sent
X
his
is
ass
a
to-
masterpiece compared to this one.
Damn.
I mean, this one,
Damn.
Michael Myers is even in it for the first hour and a half.
What the fuck?
it's a.
So it's like the original Halloween 3. Where they didn't have his
Yeah,
ass in it at all.
exactly. And then when he shows up, he's weak. What the hell's that? And then he befriends a little kid and imparts some of his evil into this teenage boy, and then he becomes like, he wants to be the new Michael.
That sounds like Chucky.
It was
It sounds like they're
yeah.
just doing a Chucky with
Yeah.
Michael, where they're like, here,
100%.
let's pass it down.
crossover movie.
Ooh,
And then, not spoiler alert, he dies in the end of this one.
thank fucking God.
And it was
About time.
stupid. I wrote Jamie Lee Curtis, and I'm like, damn you. What were you thinking?
so
'Cause
how
before-
old is Michael Myers? Like, technically, if he would
I
have...
think he was in his 60s.
He had to have been like 60, 70 years old, because
Yeah.
there ain't no way that you've lived from like...
Because like H2O, did you see that one?
Yeah.
I loved that one.
That was a good
I thought
one.
it was a great
I
movie.
thought they were going to end it at that.
Yeah, I did
Right.
too.
And I was like, that would have been a cool end of the series.
Right.
That's my favorite. That and Aliens. I wish they'd we need something
Aliens
new.
is good. Yeah.
Aliens is great.
Yeah. Still to this day, Aliens is just, it's really,
I
really,
wish
really
they
good.
would have done Alien versus Predator better.
Me too.
I feel like they dropped the ball on a lot of
Big
stuff
time.
there, but
It took place here in Colorado, but there's ferns everywhere in the woods.
yeah, and I'm like, what?
That's not Colorado.
I know it's Hollywood, but come
We got-
on,
we got
people, make
pine-
it believable.
We got pine trees.
They
home.
could have shot somewhere up in the mountains. There's plenty of room out
There
there.
is
Yep.
plenty of space in the mountains.
No one even would have batted an eye.
Nobody even known.
Yep.
Like, really?
Right.
To
Yeah.
be like, I've never seen, like, that's just so much open space out there.
Yeah.
And you fuck it up.
One of my favorite horror video games is called Alien Isolation.
Oh.
I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's so Alien Isolation is one of the few good Alien games out there, but it is true to the source material.
From Alien, like the movie?
Yeah, like from the original Alien with
sweet.
Ripley.
I
And so
love that.
in the game, Alien Isolation, you play as Ripley's daughter 30 years later.
No shit.
And her mother disappears. And so you have to go back on the Nostromo to go find her mother.
find her.
Yeah, and the whole time, and they programmed that alien so the whole time he's tracking you down. And like, it is suspenseful. That's one of my favorite. See, I'm getting goosebumps right now talking
That's awesome,
about that.
though. That's awesome.
That's a
That
good
game, you
game,
play
then.
a good horror game. That game gets you going because like you're like, oh, he didn't see me. Oh shit, he seen me. You go run in a locker. You're like hiding, and sometimes he doesn't find you, and then sometimes he finds you, and then it's like super, just like the movie. It's a really awesome game.
It's kind of like in Halloween 2 when Jamie Lee's climbing out the window and he's grabbing her foot.
Yeah.
And you're on there like, run, pull your foot up.
no,
Yeah.
move it.
Yeah,
That's how I write, though, with that in mind. I always keep that in the back of my mind because
I
I
think-
want people to be, get goosebumps. As they read it.
I think a lot of like horror movies now have lost that effect.
I do too.
It's here's the gore, here's the monster, here's the chick or the guy or girl that's going to get murdered, and there's the end of the story.
yeah, or it's
And you're like, oh, okay, cool.
all jump scares.
Yeah.
like Paranormal Activity.
Yeah. Like, you know, it's going to be a loud bang, or it's
I
going to
rewatched
be...
Sinister the other day, and I forgot the jump scares that were in that.
Yeah,
Of course, we just bought a big TV and had a big sound bar. I had it cranked up, too, so my dogs all jumped at the same time.
so
But yeah,
funny.
I like a good jump scare, but there
Yeah.
needs to be more than just a jump
Yeah,
scare.
there has to be something going on. I got to be intrigued. If it's horror, like, so I'm big into like movement and action, and I have to like my mind has to be going, or else I'm gonna fall asleep during a movie. I'm gonna fall asleep in a
Absolutely.
book. If I'm not intrigued from the very get go,
Yep.
I'm out. So I totally get that, and I'm missing that a lot in movies lately. And I'm like, man, I don't even want to go see movies anymore. I'm like, nah, forget it. I'll just
Yeah,
fall
well,
asleep.
I want to see that new Exorcist movie.
Yeah, me too.
I do wanna
It
see
looks
that,
so
though.
good. Yeah.
I'm a big Exorcist fan, too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember watching the original Exorcist when I was a kid, and I thought it was hilarious because by that time, like,
Yeah.
I watched everything with my
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah.
Like watched all the horror movies kids aren't supposed to watch. So by the time I actually seen the original Exorcist, I thought it was kind of funny.
Well, and when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to see it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was super young though. I
Yeah.
wasn't even 10, I don't think, when it came out. But when I saw it, it did me a little bit. But I had friends that went and saw the drive-in with their parents, and they had nightmares for months.
Yeah.
See, like my dad, I was like 7 or 8, and he played It for me.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, man, this is excellent. Like I was super pumped for it. I was all jazzed up. And he was like, okay, I got one for you. And he put in Exorcist. And I was like, the whole time, like, oh man, this is great. Like it was awesome. But then I was terrified at the same time.
Yeah.
And I didn't sleep in my bed, I swear to God, for 3 days because I thought a demon was going to come and possess my body if I was in my bed. I was like, they can't get me on the floor. I was like, can't get
Yeah.
underneath me if I'm already on the
That's
floor,
right.
bitch.
Yeah, yeah.
That was my
Show
logic.
you.
I was like, fuck them demons.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Little did I know.
What did you think of the new It that came out? The sequels, the two, not sequels, but the one and two.
I watched one. That was okay. And I like how they kind of built it up to give it more of a backstory of who Pennywise was and that kind of thing. So I like that, but it still was kind of slow for me.
Yeah.
So I was like,
I liked it, but like almost all Stephen King, even he says it in his movies. Yeah, well, I wrote this book, but the ending's going to suck. It's because they suck.
yeah.
What the fuck? You have this Pennywise clown that's a badass,
And then your
that's
ending
killing all
blows.
these people, and all you have to do is just laugh at him or something.
Yeah.
But
Like-
I think the reason people like really don't like clowns is because of movies like It.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
they
yeah.
might have been a
My
kid
wife's terrified
and
of
watch it.
clowns.
Like I know my sister, she's in that boat. To this day, she's terrified of clowns. I remember when we were kids, was sitting there at the house watching It. I thought it was great. I enjoyed the movie.
But then you have, like, I can understand being scared of Pennywise because he's more, like, realistic. He looks like a person, almost outside of, like, his bulbous ass head. Other than that, he's pretty normal looking. Now, I don't get the ones that are afraid of, like, the killer clowns from outer space.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, those are the most exaggerated
so
cartoon-looking damn things in the world. How the hell are you ever scared of those?
Right.
Like, I
I
don't
know
get
you're
it.
like, it's like, lesbian barbarians from space. And they're like,
and I'm not trying to
I
knock,
won't even watch it.
and
Just
I
based
won't
on
knock
the
like
title.
haunted house clowns at all because I'm wholeheartedly full on like let's do your characters, but the ones that wear the generic mask constantly, like it's the full head mask where the lips don't move, the eyes
Yeah.
don't move, and all you see is their teeth moving around inside. And I'm like, just that's not scary. I don't understand. Like to me, that I don't understand. Like do something extra. And I know I wear like a little half mask thing, and it's a clown mask.
Those
but
things
I-
are scary though.
But
Like
I
American
add
Horror
things to
Story.
it. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
add stuff to it to give it more of a different look and a different feel. You know.
So clown's named Twisty, I think.
Yeah.
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 Oh, nice.
Yeah, that spawned a whole series of people wearing like big mask things.
Yeah.
And it helped that it was COVID season too.
I was like how
Like-
when American Horror Story every season, like if it correlates to haunt, people come say like American Horror Story
Yep.
things to our haunt actors, like Porky.
Yeah.
I remember for the man, what season was it? It was like the season where they're like in that mansion and the crazy family
shit.
and the
Yeah,
pig
yeah.
guy.
Yep.
I forget that it's Roanoke. That's what it's
Roanoke,
called.
yep.
Roanoke. Okay. When that came out, you know,
Everybody.
everyone would go into Andrew's room and be like, "Crow a toe in," and I'd be like, "Are you proud of yourself?"
Way to go.
Do you feel
Well, you know,
proud?
speaking of that though, the episode, I mean, season 3, The Witches.
Yeah.
Excellent
So-
season.
Yeah, I thought that was a good one.
That was
Yeah.
an excellent season.
But my wife and I were laying in bed watching it, and we had just got back from New Orleans because my son went to school there, and we did a ghost tour, and we went to that
Oh,
house.
that's so cool.
Oh shit.
And I'm watching the opening scene with Kathy Bates, and and I'm like, I think this is the house we were at.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it was.
Nice.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's on my bucket list is go to New Orleans and go on some of those ghost walks and
Yep.
stuff like that.
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I've been down there. Anytime I gone, it was in the swamp. It was never none of the cool stuff. So
Yeah.
I would totally.
We met a cool
love to go.
vampire there.
Yeah.
His
Oh,
name
nice.
is Crash. He had his teeth filed, everything.
Oh,
That's
nice.
cool.
And he walks around and talks to everybody for free, and you can take your pictures. And
Hell yeah.
That's sick.
we did one in Savannah in January,
Uh-huh.
a haunted ghost tour.
How was that?
Nah, lame.
No.
Lame.
It wasn't that good.
Have you done the one here in the Springs yet?
Which one?
The haunted ghost tour downtown?
No. Is
Yeah.
it good?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I
Haven't
see
been.
the guy downtown all the time. I work downtown as well. And I see him walking around doing the tours at night all the time. And he's got like this little wand, and it's like a light up wand and like a staff. And he's got like this big ass top hat and a little cape. And he does the tours, and it's always packed. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I kind of want us to do it one time. Because I think he takes you to the underground sections and stuff and shows
nice.
you some of that. And
Oh, that's cool.
that might be on hold, though, because, the fires.
Yeah.
At least that ain't COVID.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I'm a big believer in ghosts. I've had some experiences myself. I
Yeah.
wrote about them.
Yeah.
100%.
And then I talk to people, and you can always tell when they're not being honest, and they're just like, oh, this happened. And
I got
So,
touched.
what is your most, I guess, renowned experience with ghosts?
so that's why the book is called From the Benign to the Malevolent, because none of mine are very scary. But when I was in England, I lived there for 2 years in the military. And I was on I was on the edge of the runway. And there was a road, or a taxiway, I should say, not runway. And I was in this shack. I was a cop, so I had to make sure everybody had badges and all that. And I had some friends that worked the night shift, and they're like, it's great, but you get so tired, you see people walking up that aren't there, And so I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You're tired, you
Yeah.
know? So I hated day shift, and I finally got to night shift. It was my very first night, and I'm on this thing. It was called Echo 1, Entry Control Point number 1. And like I said, I'm at the edge of the taxiway, so there was hangars and all that down this way. And then straight ahead of me was the access road.
Mm.
And at the corner was a pole with a light and had a big pool of light coming down. And so I'm writing a letter home because it was 1983.
Yeah.
And
Pen and paper.
I know.
A pencil and paper.
But you weren't allowed to do it because it was, a nuke base.
Yeah.
So, you couldn't distract yourself, And so the shack was just a little 4x4 shack, and this side was all plexiglass. And then here there was a door at face level when you stood up. And I'm writing a letter home saying, I'm on nights, I love it. And I see somebody kind of like looking down at me, like cocking his head, trying to read what I'm writing. And I said, shit, I'm busted, And I look up and nobody was there. I'm like, okay, that was a premonition. Like, put your stuff away, you're going to get busted. So I'm looking across the road and I see a pilot in a jumpsuit walking up to me. So I get up and I make sure I got all my stuff on and I walk out and he's gone. And I thought, oh, he just turned around and forgot something. You know? So I'm sitting there and I see him coming again. So this time I jump up and I go outside and I see him and he's walking up. And as soon as he exits that pool of light, he just disintegrates into thin air.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
His name is Lake and Heath Charlie. So he's a pilot that came in for an emergency landing. He dropped his hook and he thought he missed the cable. And as he went back up, it slingshotted him back down and he died.
Oh, piss.
Yeah. So I'm a little freaked out now thinking I just saw Lake and Heath Charlie, So I start writing again and I see him looking at me again through the window. So I kind of look up at him and I could see he's like pale, but that's England. Everyone's pale. The sun never shines. And he had really super dark eyebrows and dark hair. And he was like twisting his head around trying to read what I'm writing. So I look up really fast and he was gone.
Oh, shit.
So like stupid people in a horror movie, I ran outside and went around my shack. Like every dumb character in every dumb movie.
I do that every time. My girlfriend yells at me all the time. She's like, you can't go search for noises at night. And I'm like, yeah, you can.
If I want to sleep and my wife hears anything, I'm up checking it out.
I was out at like 3 o'clock the other morning and I heard an owl hooting. And I was like, man, where's this owl? It sounds really close. And I look up and I swear it was Mothman. It was not a fucking owl. That some bitch was like 7 feet tall standing on top of the roof across from me. And I was like, and it's time to go inside now.
I had an owl in my backyard once and it screeched so loud my neighbor came out. What was that? I said, I think it was a pterodactyl.
Damn dinosaur.
Yeah, owls get big.
Yeah.
They're scary. If you have a chihuahua or something.
Yeah, they'll
eat your
snatch 'em.
chihuahua.
Hell, I've seen them snatch up beagles and collies and all kinds of
yeah.
stuff. I'm like, y'all are vicious.
They
cool.
are. They're mean, but they're pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're cool animals.
So awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I could rotate my head.
I
like
was
that.
just going to say that. I want to be able to turn my fucking head around like 6 times and be like, ta-da. Like, how's that?
Magic.
Yeah.
Right? Could you imagine the haunt shit you could do with that?
Yeah.
No doubt. It's like The Exorcist.
So,
Right?
have you ever walked through any haunted houses, like the one we're in?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Me and my wife went through it last year.
Okay.
How about outside of the Hellscream Fear Complex group?
Other haunted houses?
Yeah.
Well, you asked me earlier how I got hooked up with Vince, and besides that meeting, I worked with the lady that owned the Haunted Mines,
Okay.
Okay.
and so she knew Vince, and she connected me with Vince. Then when I met him, I'm like, "Hey, I know you."
Nice.
But she hooked me up with him, so that was a cool place too. There was a clown there that would walk around with a mouse tail hanging out of its mouth, and I thought that's really cool.
Nice.
Nice.
It's the little things,
It is.
We
It
gotta
really,
keep
really is.
Keep you guys wondering, keep ourselves wondering.
That reminds me, I got to put a fake mouse back in my mouth on the back of my head for my costume, like I did last year.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. We named him Meisel Myers.
Oh, that's even better.
I love the creativity of our characters. And
Well, I think I was really impressed because this is the first time I met all, the actors.
Yeah.
And everybody's so professional and cool.
Yeah.
Everybody was super cool last year.
it's definitely a different atmosphere. Like you look at some of these people and you're like, you've done time in prison, and then you talk to them and you're like, you've never spent time in prison whatsoever.
Yeah.
But you look it.
But you sure do look it.
Yeah.
I had somebody come up to me last year and she hadn't talked to me. Like I've known her for 3 years. I've known of her for 3 years.
Yeah.
And she came up to me last season or 2 seasons ago and was like, hey, I never really got to talk to you, but after I'm talking to you a little bit this season, you're a pretty cool dude. I just thought that you were an asshole all the time. And I'm like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Like I'm
get
not
that, too.
an asshole. I just look like one.
People tell me I'm unapproachable because I have a resting bastard face.
Yeah.
The resting bastard face. I like that.
I've got the criminal beard. It's okay.
Yeah.
I get that.
I was thinking more like, what's that band? The bass player,
Anthrax.
Yeah, Anthrax.
Yeah. Anthrax. Yeah.
I get that a lot, actually.
I mean, yeah, the same style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some guy came up to me at a dollar store one time, like probably about a month or That last year, I think, and he was like, "Are you the guy from Anthrax?" I'm like, "Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
yes,
I know
am."
how to play bass guitar.
Yeah.
Anthrax is sick. I've seen them a few times.
love
They're-
them.
They're good.
They're so good.
real
I
good.
try to incorporate music in my books too. So
Oh, really?
if ever they become a movie,
Okay.
I have the
What-
soundtrack ready.
Hell yeah.
What kind of music do you think goes along with your books?
Well, like Psycho Killer from Talking Heads is a good one.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Okay.
can
That's a
see
good
that.
one.
That would make sense.
Missy Elliott, Get Your Freak On. I'm using
you
that
go.
with my new book that I'm writing about the serial killer.
Oh,
Ooh.
cool.
He
Hell yeah.
he plays music when he kills people. You know.
Oh, that's cool.
I like that it's Missy Elliott.
Yeah.
And it's not something,
Something
like
really
typical creepy song like you always
cool.
hear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Celine Dion or some shit.
Yeah.
Should do Taylor Swift in the background.
Oh my god.
And make the killer kill himself.
Yeah, no doubt.
This is just a tragic story.
No, I mean
That'd be a short story.
Yeah.
You know, like a page.
Yeah.
He turns the
Of course,
music on.
My favorite
Taylor
band
Swift
is
kicks
Rush.
in.
So,
Ooh,
you know, I have
love
to have
Rush.
Rush in there. I've
I
seen
love
them
Rush.
like 17 times.
Oh, that's awesome.
I absolutely love them.
Yeah, they were so great. Evidently, the two survivors are going to make some music this year,
Really?
maybe. So, we'll see.
That could be interesting.
That was like how bands are like, oh yeah, we're gonna retire, and then they're on
And
a
then they
reunion tour.
Well, I mean, Neil died, you know, the
Yeah.
drummer. But unlike, I think the most successful replacement in music is AC/DC.
Yeah.
When Bon Scott died and
Yeah.
Brian Johnson came in, I was like, you remember the first time you heard Hell's Bells?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like starts off with the bell and the guitar, and you're just waiting to hear this new guy sing. And when he finally does, you're like, damn, that's awesome.
It was good.
Yeah.
So good. So many good memories of
It's fair. I feel like
Things.
Boat Flight does a good job for stepping in for David Brocky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From GWAR.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. if
GWAR's
you guys-
cool. I'm
yeah.
familiar with GWAR.
Yeah. See, and when I remember when David Brocky died, I was like, who are they going to get to replace that guy? You know. So.
I
he
mean,
does
with
a really,
Rush, I
really
mean,
good
how do you
job.
replace Neil?
it.
Yeah,
It
you
damn
can't.
near impossible. Like almost every drummer that ever talks is like, yeah, my main influence is Neil Peart.
See,
Yeah.
that
Well, no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I didn't go see Pantera on their recent reunion tour.
Yeah,
because
I
it's like,
wasn't.
how are you going to replace Diamondback Darrell? I get you got Zach White to play guitar, but also
He's not even
it's-
close.
It's not Diamondback.
It's not close.
I miss the days when I still used to see Ozzy, you know. That was
Yeah.
always a good
Yep.
show. And
Ozzy
I
was
saw him
great.
with Randy Rhoads, and he died like 2 weeks later in Florida. And
God,
I saw Bon Scott, then he died, and I'm like, what the hell, man? I'm the kiss of death to any good band.
Damn.
quit looking at music.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, you know.
So, other than the book you're working on currently, is there any plans for anything next?
Well, yeah, I have 6 books lined up that
Nice.
that I have written down. I got my project list. You know.
Okay, cool.
Maybe 7 if I talk to some of your friends from Hellscream.
The whole project.
And
Yeah, we're gonna get you started. Maybe
Yeah.
get a sequel in there.
But I'm gonna do the whole haunted convention tour next year. I think I'm gonna
Nice.
try
Oh,
my hand
cool.
at it because I had a really good time at the one in Denver. I got to meet all kinds of people. I met Michael Myers from Rob Zombie movies.
Oh, cool.
I mean, this place they had everybody. Dee Wallace was there. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
It was E.T.'s mom, and she was in Halloween. Rob
Yep.
Zombie. Then of course everything then was Terrifier. Terrifier.
Yeah.
Are you a fan?
Not really.
Yeah, it's just gore.
Yeah. See, I
Like, I enjoy the fact that he's a lunatic.
Yeah, I do too. I love that.
I love that he giggles when he's killing people. But the extra gore again,
Yeah.
I'm like,
So for me, yes, I like the slow burn horror movies. Like one of my favorite horror movies recently is Hereditary.
Oh,
Have you
I've
ever
not
seen
seen
that?
that, but I've
You-
heard mixed
I haven't even
reviews.
heard about
You both need to go home and watch that movie because usually I'm not into paranormal movies, but that one, it's a slow burn. And man,
It gets you.
that movie is great. It is one of my favorite horror movies
All right.
in
Oh,
a
I'll
long
give it a
time.
shot.
Might have to check
It's-
that out
It's
then.
not super gory. It's just like a slow burn. It's just like 2 hours of these people's descent into madness.
sweet.
It is ridiculous.
So it keeps you going like,
Yeah. What's going to happen? Yeah.
see, I gotta have that. I gotta have that, or I gotta have like super action, like Die Hard.
And then on the other flip side of the coin, though, I really enjoy over gory movies like Evil Dead.
Oh, I love Evil Dead, but that's satire to me.
But yeah, for sure. But also enjoy stuff like Hostel.
Yeah.
That movie fucked me up a little
Yeah,
bit.
see, I love Hostel.
I was like, man, I don't know if I want to
And,
go to Europe.
Yeah. Well, it was like, this is so real.
And then I go to Germany like a month later.
But the thing I find really cool about Terrifier is there hasn't been a movie like that in a while.
Right.
Where it was like that in your face about gore and killing. And that's why I like about it. And they used a lot of practical effects in that movie.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of practical effects.
Yeah. That's what our haunts run on is practical.
Exactly.
Like we don't have the fancy shit. We got
and that's what made like Mad Max Fury Road so good when that came out.
yeah.
They shot all like 90% of that they shot on camera.
Yeah.
They had those cars built.
Yeah, it was all like
That stuff's so cool.
just shit that we do.
And so the reason I think Terrifier is so cool is because of the practical effects.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've seen Terrifier 2 or not.
I started watching
Okay.
it.
So there's a scene where the Art kills that lady in her bedroom,
Yeah.
right? And she's like all flayed out on the bed and stuff. Well, I guess that they actually did that, and it took like 5 puppeteers underneath the bed to move her body.
Oh, cool.
And it took them
shit.
like 18 hours to shoot that scene.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Have
I
you
think
seen
that
The
shit's so
Collector or
cool.
The Collection?
Yeah.
Those movies I thought were very good.
Yeah.
I still need to check those out.
The first, I saw The Collection first, which was a sequel. I didn't know it at the time. And I thought, man, this is the best horror movie I've seen in a long time. So then I watched The Collector, and it was good too, but
Yeah.
it's something. I wish they'd make part 3 because I want to see what happens.
There's so many movies I gotta check out.
Yeah.
I'm terrible. A little bit like
Terrible.
I fall asleep. I'm like, I don't want to fall asleep.
Fall asleep.
I do. If I sit still for too long, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like if I'm pretty sure the people on the podcast that watch our podcast know by now. Like I'm never not shaking or something. I got to try and stay awake all the time. I'm like, man, I gotta do something.
Yep. So, like this book, The Real Stories, this one here, or this one up here,
This one.
that was a lot of fun to write.
Yeah.
And I really hope that my goal is that people will get it and read it. And then when they leave Hellscream or the Fear Complex, they'll be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then they'll come back again and look for some of the things that we've identified.
Hell,
in
they can
there.
even come back and sign up for one of our paranormal activity tours that we do.
Yep.
Were you part of that tour? That was like last month. They had one at Hellscream. It was from like 12 to 2.
Oh, with Sixth Sense Paranormal?
Yeah.
We did not go.
Yeah. I didn't either.
Yeah.
I was going to go, and I even bought a ticket to go, but then, life happens sometimes.
Yeah. We're
But
all
yeah,
really busy.
If you're in the
sometimes.
Colorado area, check them out. Paranormal, Sixth Sense Paranormal. They do
I got to tell you what,
investigations all
though,
over.
these two haunts, Hellscream and this one, are amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank
What
you.
they have done with both buildings
Yeah.
and the characters.
Have you been through recently?
Hellscream?
So I know Hellscream just opened up last weekend.
Uh-huh.
Have you seen some of the changes that we did over there?
No, I've not been
Okay.
yet.
Oh
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
All right, but I'll be going
We
this
made a
weekend,
few
maybe.
changes over there. Made a few changes over here. Got some new characters brewing. Got some.
I saw the, what is it, claustrophobic wall that's
Yeah.
upstairs. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Yeah. I'll be here actually Friday
Okay. Yeah.
for the
Okay.
grand opening of the Fear Complex, but then Saturday I think I'll swing over to Hellscream.
What are you doing here Friday?
Selling
You
books.
gonna be selling and signing books?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, you heard it here. Check it out this Friday.
Good books.
And there's copies at both locations.
Yeah.
In
Oh,
gift
okay.
shops.
At the gift shop.
Cool.
Yep.
Right
So I
on.
gave him like 100 books, so it was
Nice.
50 here and 50 there. So
Fair enough.
Hey,
That's cool. Yeah.
Hellscream Fear Complex fans, check it out. You guys might check him out or see him here signing books and
Yeah.
stuff. So
They're like, I just couldn't get enough. I need to read this book
right,
now.
hey, there's some good shit in them books.
Yeah.
yeah,
you know?
there is. There really is. And I even have pictures of one of the demons they caught on.
Oh, the one
CCTV.
down in the downstairs at Hellscream.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
the one that Jesse had posted.
Yeah.
That shit.
Hey,
There's definitely somebody down
but
there
you know, when you have all this stuff here that they've got from,
everywhere and anywhere. And
if you don't have attachments, then
You're into paranormal books and stuff like that. So I don't know if you've ever been to was it Zak Bagans museum in Las Vegas?
no,
You should go.
definitely.
This last January, first of this year, me and my girlfriend went out to Vegas with the sole purpose to go to his museum, and he has it's a haunted house, literally a haunted house though, because it's Zak Bagans who does Ghost Hunters. And so in this house, he has collected all the stuff from his show. And
What an idiot.
yeah, so it's all in this.
I don't know. Sometimes, I'm like, why are you inviting this stuff in?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
So
it's cool to look at there.
it's really, really, really cool. And they have stuff like from serial killers there. They have actual like they had the Dybbuk box, which is I guess one
The
of the
Dybbuk box?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess one of the most haunted like objects that's out there. And
Yeah, I'm
they just
very
have a
familiar
lot. They have the doll that Annabelle's based on.
Oh, wow.
They had
from the Warrens?
yeah, they have
The little
all-
Raggedy Ann doll?
Man.
But even the Warrens, which by the way are in that book too, I have with all the crazy stuff in it. Their Warrens are in there, but they took great care with all their stuff. They have a priest come in and bless it. Like that Annabelle doll was always in glass, and they're like, "Don't open the door, don't touch it."
Yeah. And talking about that, when you go in, she's in her own separate room there, but when you go in, you have to greet the doll.
Yeah.
And when you leave, you have to say bye.
Yeah.
Because apparently, if you don't treat the doll with respect, it curses you. And they have a whole wall there of people who've written apology letters to the doll because they feel like their life was cursed because they disrespected the doll.
There's another one just like that in Florida.
Yeah.
And it's from the 1920s. It's a doll of a boy in a sailor's outfit.
Uh-huh.
And it's the same thing. He's in a glass case. So like, don't touch the glass case. You got to ask permission first before you take a picture. You must greet yourself, introduce yourself, and say goodbye when you leave. And the same thing. And it's a eerie looking dude, this doll.
Why has anybody made a movie about that then?
I don't know.
Why is it always Annabelle?
Because, it's a girl doll. That makes it a little more sinister.
I don't know. Chucky's a mean motherfucker.
Chucky's hilarious, okay?
Yeah.
I know. Chucky is great.
So funny.
I love Chucky.
My youngest, I was terrified of Chucky. Even to this day, he's 30 now. And he's like,
No, Chucky.
I cannot watch Chucky.
That's awesome.
So funny.
I love Chucky.
Well, it's like Jersey Fire in the Sky,
Yeah.
the movie about aliens and all that stuff. So I was watching it, and he was outside playing, and he came in. I'm like, don't watch. Sit at the table and eat your peanut butter and jelly, but don't watch the TV, And I looked at him, but at that last scene in the movie where he's in the spaceship, he woke up screaming in the night. And I'm like, what's wrong? I had a dream E.T. was spanking me.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So do you believe in aliens? Do you think
100%.
think we're visited?
I think, what is that famous line from that one movie? It said, "This is it. What a waste of space."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My friend out in Iowa, one of the ones we're going to go visit, Madness Haunted House, they had their opening weekend this weekend too, and they had the police called on them for aliens. There was 3 spaceships floating above their haunt.
Oh, cool.
It was their spotlights
Uh,
that they had going to show off
Right.
their stuff, and the locals around town didn't know that they were opening that weekend, and they called the police and said, "Hey, aliens are floating around and such." And
Well, they had that happen here too a couple weeks ago, about a month ago. A friend of mine lives down south, and they were like, "What is this?" And there's all these lights hanging with the mountain backdrop and everything. But turned out it was flares from Fort Carson.
yeah.
Stupid
That happens.
Carson.
So they say.
Yeah. It's not like we have 2 Air Force bases here
Yeah, we
and a
have
military
4.
base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
5.
Space Force,
Yeah.
literally the space.
And I retired out of Cheyenne Mountain.
Right. Oh, okay.
We got monsters inside.
Yeah, I can
There's
tell.
one. There's one in there.
Boogly, oogly, oogly.
Yeah, being loud.
The funny thing about every Air Force base has a ghost story.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them in that Real Ghost Stories book.
Yeah.
Except Cheyenne Mountain. There are no ghost stories.
Huh.
There's no experiences of anybody having any weird things happen. Just people going crazy with claustrophobia from being under all that granite,
Yeah.
Right.
That's weird.
It is weird. Because somebody had to die making that base.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
100%. That's so strange.
Yeah, I'm sure some of those old military bases are
Like
super haunted.
I was stationed on Carson, and there's a set of barracks that were there from like World War One still.
Oh,
and
wow.
nobody uses them. Like it's just off in distance. But they say because they have like groundskeepers and stuff that go through. And there was 2 guys, and I met one of them, and he told me, he said when you go downstairs into the basement to check everything, everything's clear. And he said one night he went down and it was around like 2 a.m. and he went down and there was desks and shit just like scattered everywhere. And he was like, what the fuck? And he couldn't even get down the hallway. So he came back, got his partner. They came down and everything was clean and clear. And he was like so freaked out. And he said that he came back like 3 days late, like every day for 3 days. And the same thing was happening every day at the same time. And he was like, I wonder if it was just like that time. You know,
Well, I
or
lived on
something.
base housing at Peterson, and my son had a sleepover. They were like 5, and they had this big bookcase full of toys, and I heard it fall over and toys scatter across that linoleum floor. No mistaking the sound,
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, holy shit. I ran upstairs. Nothing was out of place. But it shook the whole damn house. I thought it fell on one of them.
I lived on base it was same time frame. One of my daughters was in the bathtub, or they were both playing in the bathtub, and I heard the shower curtain rod like fall and collapse, and I went in, and they were small. They were only like maybe 3 and 1 at the time, so they didn't have enough strength to pull down the curtain
totally.
rod. Well, I went in and everything was down, and the older of the two, she's pointing to the wall, and she goes, mean lady, mean lady, mean lady. And I'm like, what mean lady? So I like put the rod back up and I'm like tugging on it and like my big ass, I can't pull it down. And I'm like, there ain't no way these kids pulled it down. So I'm like, maybe the mean lady did it,
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, kids, let's go. Got him
My
out of the
youngest
bath. I
son
was
had
like,
an encounter with a mean lady too,
Yeah.
on the west side of town. He was like 2.5 or 3, and he was playing with their daughter Sophie back in the room. And the parents are telling us this house is haunted as hell.
oh, shit.
And they told me all these different things that happened. And the lady, wears a black Victorian type dress and all that. And so we leave, we go home. I'm tucking my kid into bed. And he was like, I go, did you have fun playing with Sophia? He goes, and they were playing with this inflatable astronaut the whole time, He goes, I wanted to bring that spaceman home, but the lady wouldn't let me. I said, who, Molly? No, the lady that lives in Sophie's room.
Oh, shit.
I was like,
shit.
because, they always say kids are
Yeah.
a little bit more
Open.
and clairvoyant when it
Because
comes.
they're still free thinking.
Yeah.
They haven't been destroyed by society.
Right. Or conditioned that talk
Yeah.
yourself out of what you're seeing.
Nothing is fake. Everything's fake. Nothing's real. Okay.
Yeah. And I feel like still there's a stigma
Yeah.
about like speaking about paranormal stuff. People are like, "Oh, you're crazy."
You're weird.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
Bigfoot,
Yeah.
Really? You believe in Bigfoot?
Or
I certainly
aliens.
damn do.
Like,
Aliens?
people
Yeah.
abducted by aliens. They're like, "Oh, you're crazy," but it's like, who to say they weren't actually abducted?
There's
by
way
aliens,
too many stories out there.
Yeah.
Same with Bigfoot that go way back,
Yeah.
Because one of the stories in Fears is what's that guy called? Hey, look. The Rake.
The Rake.
Yes.
Are you familiar with the Rake?
Yep.
I actually am not.
Oh,
Please
Shriek
elaborate.
is kind of a Reiki style.
here's the
character.
picture. Oh, you can't see it, but you may have seen that photo up here.
Oh, okay.
It's like he's all white or hairless.
I see.
Kind of like a skinwalker almost.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Scan. Okay, I get.
On the same like spectrum ish.
Wait.
Yeah.
Stories of the Rake go back to the maritime.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, it makes you wonder where all those like superstitions from the Victorian age came from. Where they're like, oh, if someone dies in your house, you got to cover up the mirrors and all this so their spirit can get out. And it really makes you wonder, like, how much truth was more people accept, like, to that, or was that like,
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of belief about mirrors being a doorway.
I've always thought mirrors are weird. Yeah. Ever since I was a little kid, every time I've ever looked in a mirror, I always felt off.
And I always felt, if I was behind somebody looking in a mirror, that they look different in the mirror.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
don't look like themselves. They
No.
don't. It's something completely different.
Again, at that Zak Bagans museum, they have Bela Lugosi's mirror.
Oh,
Where I guess he
nice.
used to try to astro project in that mirror, and I guess he eventually died in front of that mirror. But they have it like, and it's a weird mirror. You walk in there, and there's a weird energy to that mirror.
Yeah.
Like
I
it is
bet.
weird.
Did you hear that Lon Chaney? Mm-hmm. His grandson is going to be in a horror movie coming out next year.
Really?
Huh?
So that'd be cool.
That'd be neat.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's in his blood. It's in the lineage.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, it makes you wonder about some of the superstitions and some of the folklore out there, like
Totally.
Mothman, that
How
kind
true
of
is it?
stuff.
I
Yeah,
swear to God, that was Mothman on that roof. I
or
don't
was
care
it
what
a
anybody says.
or was it a big owl?
With glowing red eyes.
Yeah.
You know, who knows?
Mothman, I always wanted more evidence with
Yeah.
Mothman.
Yeah,
And more scary stuff, because I like scary stuff. You know, who
Yeah,
doesn't
he's
like
just
to get-
ominous.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh,
And I don't know why they blame him for that bridge collapsing. I mean,
Why would he collapse a bridge?
I know.
yeah.
He's a moth.
He should be bloodthirsty.
He should
Yeah.
like want to take people's light.
He should
Yeah.
eat people's sweaters.
You know, to the neck. Just take a chunk out of their neck, suck their blood, you know?
Just pop out of their fucking closet every once in a
It's a
while.
terrible horror movie ideal.
Yeah.
The
Totally.
whole movie's about Mothman, but
Eating,
instead of killing
eating
people.
grandma's sweaters.
Yeah, exactly.
And the grandma walks in. Ah, you know?
As he's like eating her new pink sweater.
Yeah. You know, like old horror movies, my favorite was women that would like go, as they screamed. Ah! I mean, what is this? What does that do?
It's the get away.
Oh, yeah.
Us, it's like spirit hands. You know?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Spirit figures.
Ooh, scary hands.
Right.
I actually did that to somebody this weekend. I was like, want to hear a scary noise? And they're like, no. I was like, oogity boogity. I like ran.
It's like, I like scaring people too. I used to put pictures of Michael Myers in people's windows so when they opened them up at night or something,
So
they'd
funny.
see it. Because nothing more scary than Michael Myers when he stands still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about doing any acting yourself?
Well, you know, not to brag, but I am in Stargate SG-1. The
Oh,
series.
really?
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I was still active duty and they wanted real Air Force cops to be in it. So I was in I filmed 7 episodes, but they didn't show up till season 6 and 7.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
And that's
But I mean,
back
at least
when
they
it was
used
only
it.
on Showtime and I didn't have Showtime. So I had my family recording it for me and
Oh, God.
I'd look at it and no.
That's cool.
That's my only
But I mean,
acting
you were
gig.
on it.
Yeah. And I got
more-
free lunch.
Hey.
Hey, yeah, you can't go wrong with that.
Right? I used to work at Amazon and we did it was when they started their My Habit project and it was like their fancy clothes or whatever. And the film studio was in our building. So I'd go in as night safety and they would be cleaning up all their stuff. And I'm like, hey, leave that food shit for when the night shift comes in
Damn
so we can
right.
eat that shit. And they're like, well, the employees can't come in. And I'm like, but me and Amcare can. So we'd go in every night. We'd start our shift at 5 and they'd close down at 6. So as soon as we'd come in, we're like, so what you guys got?
Yeah.
You know, and we'd come out with a whole dinner tray because half of them wouldn't eat because the models don't eat food.
Yeah.
They only eat a piece
Yeah.
of the lettuce that's on the sandwich.
And then
I'm
they
like,
puke it up
I'm
anyway.
like, what the
So.
fuck is wrong with you guys? This is a ton of food. So we'd come back to the Amcare office. We'd have one of those big deli sandwich serving platters. There'd be 100 sandwiches on it still. We'd come back with a full ass cake and pudding all the time. I'm like, man, you guys are stupid.
People used to do that to cops, you know,
Yeah.
in the Air Force. They would bring us their leftovers as they left for the day.
Yeah.
Like a tray that's been sitting out all day long. So the pepperonis or salamis are all dried and curling up.
They're like, here, guys, you want some?
Yeah. You just didn't want to
No.
throw it away. So you're giving it to us. Thanks.
You know.
It's garbage. You know, we're pigs. I get it. But, what the hell?
It's funny.
Feed us something worth eating, without giving us ptomaine poisoning.
Just give us crackers.
So where can people find your books and your social media and all that good
Yeah,
stuff?
what's all your good content?
Yeah.
Well, I have all my books are on Amazon, so I self-publish through Amazon.
Cool.
And also on Audible. So I have 4 books in Audible right now. And in Fears 1, I got the most awesome narrator. He's from Australia, and he's super good.
Nice.
And then again, I mean, they're all good, but some stand out. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean? And the guy for my Western, he has the perfect cowboy voice.
Nice.
I was like, no, you have to be the dude that does this.
Yeah. That's cool.
And then I have a James Mavity author page on Facebook and Instagram, James Mavity horror author,
Cool. I think we can post that up on the actual podcast too. We can.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
put it in the
We'll
links.
blast
But
it on there.
also,
But 'tis the season. It's Halloween
Yeah, it
season.
is.
Halloween is the new Christmas.
Well, I
should
love
be.
it. And like I say, we have to watch at least one horror movie a day for the whole month of October.
Okay.
And I usually start with all the Halloweens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kick it off right.
Have to do Hereditary.
yeah, you got to kick it off.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll watch that before.
Yeah.
I'll watch that tonight.
There you go.
Heck yeah.
It's a crazy
Well, I think
movie. Yeah. Well, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for coming on and
Thanks for
hanging
having
out with
me.
us and talking.
Yeah.
Probably have you come on
Yeah.
right around
So
the end of season, maybe get some stories from you.
Sure.
See what you hear in the gift shops and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. we always want to know what people say when they're leaving the haunt. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah,
Because
definitely.
Wizzo's more outside. I'm inside.
Yeah.
So I never know what people think
Yeah,
when they leave
he
my
never
area.
knows. I'm like,
because
hey man, they're talking all kinds of craziness about you guys, and they're like, no, they're not.
Yeah.
They are.
'Cause I'm-
Fuck
But
they
it
ain't.
makes you feel good to know people appreciate
Yeah. Oh,
or,
yeah.
or were actually scared.
I'm constantly listening for the different stories from people leaving and
Yeah.
stuff. 'Cause
Oh,
I
well,
like to
I'll
pass that
definitely do
word
that.
on to the actors and stuff.
Yeah.
this weekend I was asking people if I can give them a railroad spike lobotomy because ice pick lobotomy was not enough.
Yeah.
Right. No. This leaves too much to the imagination. You got to really get in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Heck yeah.
Gotta really make sure they're going to be brain dead.
Just a little.
Yeah. Again, thanks for doing
Yes,
this.
thank you.
We really
Hey, it's my pleasure. Thanks
appreciate
for
it.
having me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Have a good night, guys.
Yep. Take
Bye.
her easy.